Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Join us July 22nd, 8:30 to 5 p.m. for the Equine Extravaganza at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, Ocala. Brought to you by West Florida Fence and the Horse Talk Show. Fundraising for Spirit Equine Therapy and Open Hands Animal Rescue. Enjoy a fantastic breed show from miniature horses to Clydesdales. With jumping and dressage demos, you can also watch barrel racing, dog training, mounted shooting, and enjoy food vendors and crafts for kids, plus a silent auction. Check the Equine Extravaganza fundraiser event on Facebook. And we'll see you July 22nd from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion for the best in horsing around in the horse capital. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Well,
who's back? She's back.
Yeah, and I came back without an Irish accent. Although I must say, while we were there, I did pick up some of the.
Did you get a little Blarney on you?
A little Blarney and a few other things, yes. It was quite an amazing trip. I don't know exactly. I think it was 14 years ago that Kent Gwynn and the original twinning committee formed this partnership with, well, it's actually all Kildare County now, but the town is Newbridge, and it's very horse-centric, very centralized point. They actually have 3 racetracks in that town.
Oh, boy.
Which is amazing.
By the way, this is Louisa Barton, your host of the Horse Talk Show.
And Pete, who filled in very, very well. Dancing Pete filled in for me while I was gone, which was fantastic. You did a great job.
Thank you. Betsy was a lot of fun.
Oh, Betsy's a blast. Betsy is she's phenomenal. So that was a fantastic show. And those 2 young men were wonderful.
Oh, they were really good.
They were fantastic. So great representations for Larson sponsored riders. So
definitely.
But it's nice to be back home.
Woo-hoo.
It's too hot, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in the show lineup, because we have Dr. Cayot talking about beating the heat. And next week, we actually have a very interesting interview with a very good friend of mine, George Gogas from Florida HVAC Services, who is going to talk about all the little things you never thought of with your air conditioning. And he's taught me so much. And boy, do we really, really seriously need air conditioning right now, because sometimes you just got to go inside for a minute because it's so hot. And it was so hot when I got back, because in Ireland, it's like 65 degrees in the summer.
Wow.
I know. I was actually cold a couple times, which was fantastic. It was lovely.
Is that like jacket weather at night?
Lots of jacket weather. Yes, jackets and
it's like
boots
being in
and
Colorado.
scarves. Oh, it was lovely.
Colorado's like that. You go out there and it's really hot during the day, and then you put on your jacket at night, and you wake up in the morning, get a lot done, and then it gets a little hot for Colorado. Not for here.
No, not for here. But we're going to share with you some of the trip that we were on, part of this kind of invigorating the twinning, because it kind of died a little bit over COVID and it was difficult to travel. So we kind of got it started again. We visited the NACE racetrack. We visited the Race Academy, which is fantastic. We visited the Irish Stud and the Japanese Gardens. We visited Abbey Fields. Forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, forever. And it was just a really, really amazing trip. We learned so much. We went to the Newbridge silverware. We went to the Lillian O'Brien's chocolates. And we were then served a Lily O'Brien's chocolate mousse on the Delta flight on the way back, which was pretty neat since we had been there. So it was just a really phenomenal trip, and we're going to share all of that with you this show.
Well, let's get the news started.
Yes, well, the news is, of course, don't forget the extravaganza is literally coming up.
July 22nd.
That's right.
8:30 to 5 p.m.
Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, presented by West Florida Fence and...
The Horse Talk Show with Louisa Barton.
And Dancing Pete Rodda. Breed parade, demos, kids crafts, vendors and more, and all going to benefit such great programs.
Spirit of Equine Therapy and Open Hands Animal Rescue.
Love them. Great causes. Should be a great event put on by the Florida Mounted. Don't forget July 22nd, 8:30 to 5 p.m. The demos look like they're going to be phenomenal. Don't forget the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games is coming up also in October.
21st of October from 10 to 4.
At the Florida Horse Park.
Woohoo!
It's going to be loads of fun. There'll be vendors, food trucks, hay rides, horse demos, a horse breed exhibit or breed parade. You'll get to see and learn show jumping, dressage, horse racing, reining, roping, barrel racing and polo, all from the safety of...
A stick horse.
A stick horse.
And we are going to hope to get a contest for who has the best design for their stick horse.
This one's pretty cute. He's got a crown. You gotta love it, right?
So that's what we have all these horses ground tied.
We have horses ground tied in here. We do, yes.
One's laying down over here. Here's another one.
There's another one. Piranha Golf. Don't forget November 4th and 5th. Piranha Life. They put on this annual golf tournament for the canines for warriors, gentle carousel miniature therapy horses, and the Florida Youth Ranch. All great causes for grab the reins and stop the horse. The Piranha Family Foundation is announcing its second annual benefit golf tournament to be held in the horse capital of the world. Great
Ocala,
causes.
Florida.
November 3rd everything will start at 9 a.m. Shotgun start at the Country Club of Ocala. And then, of course, the format's the 4-person scramble again. Great cause.
They're having eggs?
Amazing. Yeah, scrambled eggs for breakfast, right? Piranha Family Foundation, we love what they do for our community, so we're very grateful
Great
that they're doing this again.
family-based.
I got to do some shout-outs here. I got to thank Betsy from Larson Hay so much for helping me with my horses so much lately, but I have to do a shout-out for Tamra from the CEP.
Oh, very good.
Because she got in a rental car, drove
Oh, gosh.
on the wrong side of the car.
Everybody
on the wrong
close
side
your
of the
eyes while you
road.
watch this, because
And
it's
it
scary.
was even manual, so she had to change with her left hand.
And manual means it was a stick. She had to change.
Yes, manual transmission. And she had never done this before. Now, folks, if you're watching on television...
This is like tractor roads.
Yeah, this is like Grand Prix driving. And by the way, these roads are designed for 2 cars. So we did a lot of hedge trimming. Lots of hedge trimming.
A lot of ditch grabbing.
A lot of ditch grabbing, yes. And boy, the Irish countryside sure is gorgeous. Really, really beautiful.
That's my favorite country I've ever visited.
It was really amazingly pretty. And they didn't hold it against me that I was English either, believe it or not.
Wow, that's surprising.
Well, only a couple of times. But these roads are really serious. We went to Johnny Fox's, which is the most famous, highest
can't even
point
see around that
pub. No,
turn.
you can't. I finally told her, pab the horn, pab the horn, pab the horn. So we were pabbing the horn a lot.
What does that mean? Honking the horn?
Honking the horn. Yeah, pabbing the horn. Pabbing the hooter.
Okay, it's getting worse.
But these roads were absolutely...
Oh, and it just said it narrows.
Yes, it narrows. I mean, there were roads that didn't even seem like one car could get down. And boy, I tell you what, Betsy said Tamra should have rodeoed.
Wow.
Because she is hardcore. I mean, can you imagine driving for the first time in a country you've never been in on the other side of the road with a manual
Yeah, because you have to be on the left side, don't you?
Yeah, she had to shift with her left hand. Johnny Fox's, the trip up to the famous Johnny Fox's pub on our day off, that was quite the adventure of a lifetime.
Wow.
Quite an experience. By the time you get to the top and you get out, you're like, whew, we made it. So it was a phenomenal trip. It was an amazing experience.
Did you have to change your underwear anytime during this trip?
At the top of the Johnny Fox hill, it was quite something. Some of them didn't look like roads.
Yeah, it reminded me of being in Illinois with the corn, and you have the tractor roads that you go across, and you can't see. Like, you better stop at the stop signs and really wait before you get hit.
Yes.
So that's what it
There
reminded
were
me of.
barley fields and wheat fields,
That's
and then
awesome.
horses, and then sheep, and then more fields. I mean, it was just beautiful. There were acres and acres and acres of absolutely some of the prettiest land going across the Curragh, seeing the sheep.
Did you get to see the ocean?
We did.
The bluest ocean.
Yes, we did. We made one ocean trip we had one day off out of the whole 8 days, and we took that day to kind of go and do some sightseeing, tourist type stuff.
Did you kiss the Blarney Stone?
No, we didn't make it to the kissing part.
My mom always said that. I kissed it twice when I kissed it the first time.
It was a great trip, and we're going to share more with you about our experiences and what we think Ocala can take away from its twin city. Coming back after this with Dr. Cayot beating the heat now that we're back in Florida.
Ooh.
This portion of the show is presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and our TV broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Supporting sponsors are DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip LLC, Piranha, Florida HVAC Services, Crystal Cryo, Ocala Dog Ranch, and The Drinking Post. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
With over 70 years of collective experience in the horse industry, Lip Chip was built with integrity by horsemen for horsemen. Introducing the Chip Link system. Powered by Lip Chip, where a 15-digit unique ID becomes a key to unlock not only identity, but also health paperwork, owner information, and even photos of each horse. So simple, even a child can do it. The future is here. The future is Lip Chip.
Experience the bluegrass. Step into the Elwood Hotel and Suites, situated in the heart of Lexington. Elwood is a unique yet familiar place, your home base, to explore, minutes from the University of Kentucky and the best distilleries on the Bourbon Trail. Only a short drive from horse country and from the iconic Keeneland racetrack. Full of warm, natural light, Elwood rooms are inviting, a space to retreat, rewind and relax. From spacious rooms to extended stay suites. Each room is unique, just like you. Don't miss a beat in your fitness routine either, and your furry friend is welcome too. Elwood has cozy beds, yummy treats, and snuggles too. Elwood is more than a landing place. It's a tribute to a contemporary southern lifestyle, a delicious place to refuel and to launch your Lexington adventure. Book your stay at theelwoodhotel.com and like them on Facebook now. Settle in at Elwood and begin generating memories in the heart of the bluegrass. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care with Dr. Adam Cayot. We love having Dr. Cayot on the show. He always fills us in on the latest information that we need on veterinary care. And being in Florida, Not today, fortunately, but we are warming up and we're going to get into our very hot season soon. So I'm going to talk to Dr. Cayot about some recommendations for beating the heat for our horses while riding, and also perhaps even when they're turned out, things we can do to help them out. Dr. Cayot, congratulations on your wedding. That was absolutely wonderful. Beautiful photos.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's, it's a blessing that, we're together, and look forward to the future.
The family looked amazing.
Yeah,
lovely, lovely photos.
We're very happy. It's,
well done.
Good. It's nice.
She's got a lot to put up with.
That's right. Exactly.
Back to beat the heat.
Exactly. Beat the heat. So certainly the heat down in Florida can be an issue during the summertime. So the normal temperature of a horse is 98 to 101. So that's what the textbooks say. There's very few horses that actually have a 101 normal temperature. So 101 a lot of times we're considered high most of the time. So that's your normal resting temperature. Now, when horses are working, especially during the summer, and they like some of these eventing horses and things like that, and even horses that are pulling a carriage and things that are really taxing. When we stop them during their phase, during their cross country phase, you'll get temperatures of 104, 105, those sorts of things. That can be actually normal. And you just have to give those horses a little bit of time to cool down, and then you can send them on their way for the rest of the course. So they can deal with a very high fever, and I've seen horses that are sick that'll carry a 104, 105, even sometimes even after vaccines. Sometimes they'll actually spike a fever that high. Where it gets really scary is basically higher than 105. Because horses can have heat stroke, and certainly you have to be aware of that, especially for your non-sweaters. And in the summer, I've unfortunately over my practice, I've had several horses succumb to heat stroke. So certainly being aware of the physiology of your horse, pay attention to them when they're out in the summer heat, and certainly when you're riding, because just because they've always sweat before doesn't mean that won't come up, and obviously sweat helps regulate that temperature. So being a non-sweater can pop up just like that, and when you're riding, make sure you pay attention to that. And certainly even it gets warm enough down here in the summer that even horses standing out in the field will get overheated simply because they aren't sweating and they need to sweat. So you need to pay attention to that, but things that you can do to keep them comfortable or keep them at the right temperature. A lot of times down here people will leave misters out, and the horses can get under misters. Make sure obviously they have access to plenty of water. Even if they have a pond or something to go stand in, they'll do that. A shaded area, a big tree, any of those things will help. So that's the best thing that you can do, is just be aware of where you're keeping your horses, be aware of what they look like when they're out there, be aware of, are they sweating like they normally do when they're being ridden, and just make sure they have a place to cool off.
One of the things that actually made me think about on the way here even today is the fact that we're having a kind of a nice cool day today, and what tends to happen at this time of year in this area of Florida, actually in all of Florida, is we have some days where the temperature comes down quite a bit like this, and it's nice, and then tomorrow we might have like high 80s, low 90s again, and it be very humid. So those rapid changes are something that people need to be aware of.
Yeah, that can be difficult, and that's the most difficult thing for the horse, is these big temperature swings. Certainly a lot of times when it goes from warm to cold, they don't drink as much, and then that can lead to other problems like colic and that sort of thing. So certainly the wide swinging temperature variations are difficult for them, but just, as always, as I always say, just pay attention to your horse. You know your horse better than anyone, and just look at them and see how they're doing, and that's going to keep you out of a lot of trouble.
Lastly, what would be the major signs that you need to call the vet with a potential heat stroke? What are you looking for? Obviously, drastic change in what you're used to seeing with the horse.
Right. So when you're reaching that point, a lot of times those horses will be down. They'll have a very rapid respiratory rate, so they'll typically be breathing very fast. And then obviously every horse owner should have a thermometer and just use a rectal thermometer on the horse and take their temperature and see where it is. And obviously if they aren't sweating and their temperature's above 102, 105 and they're not doing anything, that's obviously concerning. So at that point you should call your veterinarian and try to cool them off as best you can, put water on them. Best places to put water are between their hind legs, over their poll, in their axillary region, kind of where the girth would be. All those places help cool them down. Underneath the tail, those will help do that. Alcohol baths are good too, so you put a little alcohol, just rubbing alcohol in water, and you can put that over them, and that helps evaporate quickly, and that's what gives them some relief. Certainly ice, if you have that to cool them down. All those places are something you can do until the veterinarian gets there.
Wonderful. Thank you. Dr. Adam Cayot, Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. Dr. Cayot's a star, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He always does such
He's hot. Get it?
Okay, that's enough,
No.
Pete.
Okay, I mean, that was hot.
Okay, let's change the subject. Did I mention that I went to Ireland?
Yes, you did.
And did I mention that it was 65 degrees and the high is like 65 or 70 and there were rain showers and sun and rainbows?
So
and it never gets hot or humid?
You didn't do any alcohol baths?
No, I didn't. Well, no alcohol baths. It was very, very pleasant the entire time, and it was really strange to not be in humidity. And George, I mentioned George from Florida HVAC Services, was in the studio earlier on this afternoon and did an interview for next week. And listen, there are so many things you don't even think about when it comes to air conditioning. And what has that got to do with horses and equestrians? Well, it's got to do with the fact if you have horses, you're outside a lot. And isn't it a relief sometimes to be able to go inside and cool off at the end of the day and take a shower and not be in 95 degrees and humidity? And especially, well, if you're at WEC, of course, you might be in air-conditioned stalls, which is lovely, but otherwise you're outdoors.
At WEC, the horses are better taken care of than the people when you're walking around. You're walking around the heat.
Yes, no, it's
go to the barn. Let's go check out the horses.
And cool off. Yeah, nice experience. But George said several things actually that made sense, and you'll hear this in Complete next week. But he mentioned a lot of things people don't think about. You know, a lot of air conditioning companies will give you a much bigger air conditioning unit than you actually need. And you think, oh, this is great. I've got a bigger unit than I actually need. But it's a problem because the air conditioning unit, and I never knew this, the air conditioning unit actually overworks, and because it overworks, it actually never reaches the point where it lowers the humidity. And who knew? So actually having a bigger air conditioning unit than you should for your house or your barn is not helpful, and I never knew that. And then other companies will say, 1,600 square foot house, you need this size unit. But what about the cubic feet? How tall are your ceilings? Lots of great hints for beating the heat. So you need to talk to George, but definitely tune in next week because he's going to give us a great rundown on some tips and some help for needy families to get new air conditioning units. So all good stuff. Coming back with Race Academy in Ireland. Stay with us. This portion of the show is presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and our TV broadcast sponsor is Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Supporting sponsors are DAC Vitamins and Minerals, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip LLC, Piranha, Florida HVAC Services, Crystal Cryo, Ocala Dog Ranch, and The Drinking Post. At Crystal Cryo, you can relax and enjoy a non-invasive cryo skin facial. Reduce fine lines and wrinkles and tighten the skin. Improve texture and tone. Stimulate collagen production. Reduce inflammation and acne. And increase blood flow to the skin, resulting in a more youthful, radiant appearance. And it all takes only about 30 minutes. Boost your confidence now and set up a consultation. Find Crystal Cryo at crystalcryo.net or on social media. Experience the ultimate in relaxation and rejuvenation. Pamper and revitalize your body, mind, and spirit at Crystal Cryo.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the third segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Rodda from Complementary Horsemanship. And we've been talking a little bit about our Twin City, Ireland, which is now part of the entire county Kildare under their chamber for the county. And we had some really amazing experiences on our first day. We actually met with the equivalent of the Visitors Bureau for Kildare, which is called Into Kildare. And we had an amazing lunch at this place that looks just like a castle. It's fantastic. Kildare, I think it's called. And we got to learn a little bit about their tourism and their visitors and kind of what they do. And we had a fantastic meeting and learned a lot even on the first day. And then later on, we actually went to the K Club, K for Kildare, which was originally purchased by Hugh Barton. Hugh Barton.
Oh, gosh. She went to Ireland and became royalty.
I decided that I must be a relative. I'm sure I must be a relative.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, the K Club, we actually had a 5-hour meeting with the CEO of the chamber there. And oh my gosh, we learned so much about our Twin City, Newbridge. It was just an amazing, amazing experience. And but we started out...
Was it entertaining?
Extremely.
Good.
Yes, it was fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful places. Oh, actually, there were 2 golf courses there, both built by Arnold Palmer.
Wow.
I know.
He built it himself or designed it?
I'm sure it was his design.
Okay.
But at one of our first really interesting visits was to the Race Academy and Education Centre. And James Dowling, who will be on the show next week, we have an interview with him.
Very good.
Told us all about all the programs that they have at this Race Academy. And I'm going to tell you, we need this here. So what they do is during the summer months, 5 to 15-year-old kids can come and learn, not just like summer camp, much more basic horsemanship and learn all about horses, like hands-on. And then once they get to 16, they can actually attend the Race Academy. They also have a farrier school there on site,
wow,
which is so impressive. This 4-year course teaching these young folks how to be farriers. And I don't mean when you see a telephone number on a tree that says, call me and I'll do your horse's feet. I mean really seriously qualified farriers training under a master farrier. And these young people actually have to create each shoe necessary to pass the 4-year exam, and you can actually see some of the different groups of classes that have made the different shoes, and they have the year above them up on the wall. really impressive the way they actually have to be really master craftsmen. It's not a situation of come in and let's teach you how to hammer some shoes on and trim some feet. This is a big, serious thing. Farrier Ireland Register Authority School. And this, people come from all over the world.
Wow.
To stay. They have a facility where you can board. You know, these facilities here are all boarding dorms, so that wherever you come from, if you don't live locally, you can come and stay right there on property, and it's an incredible facility. They also focus on the whole person, so it's not just come in and learn about horses and learn to be a jockey. It's the whole program, so it's everything from wellness. They talk a lot about their exercise programs. They put a lot of positive affirmations and uplifting quotes and things on the walls about respect and pillars of success: honesty, attitude, effort, discipline. They talk about the whole jockey. The will to win is important, but the will to prepare is vital. And you talk a lot about that.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a big focus point for really good foundational horsemanship. And so they even compare to other sports, like the muscles that you use during race riding compared to maybe being a football player or tennis player.
Yeah, those jockeys are athletes,
aren't they? Incredible.
Just like NASCAR, everybody thinks, oh, they're not very athletic, and then the guys that drive, you find out, oh yeah, they are.
They
those
have
jockeys,
to be super athletic.
Yeah.
And I actually asked James while we were there. I said, you know, there's a topic that's very much uppermost in people's minds in the racing world, and that is the number of suicides that sadly we have heard about in the world of being a jockey, and the stresses on the jockey, you know, to win, obviously, and to then also stay a certain weight. And that's very difficult. That takes a lot of self-control, and sometimes there are, you know, drugs get involved, sadly, not in all cases, but there are so many issues in that world: physical, emotional, mental, and they really address the whole person in this school. They talk about all the things that could happen and all the things you could face and deal with in this career, and they really try to help the jockey have a whole wellness plan. And they even include like healthy eating, the diet, how important the diet is that they have.
If they could eat properly, so they don't have to take anything before a race to drop weight. Just like, you know, fighters and wrestlers and stuff like that. If they would maintain their weight, they'll actually do better than trying to drop all this weight and then go, I don't feel so good. Here we go.
So they really do. They address the whole kind of beginning to end, you know, so that these jockeys can actually go out into the world and be successful. And again, these people come from all over the world to come and stay in this school and do this course. And they even have their own gallop hill, you know, so they can train on the track. And they have an indoor arena so they can train over the jumps for the steeplechase, which is fantastic.
Wow.
So they've really got the whole...
Because I've actually heard people say that that's what we need now, is they're having trouble getting exercise riders because they're not trained.
They're not. Right.
And so they're getting people that go, oh, yeah, I can ride a horse. And some of them are great.
Yeah.
But some of them really don't know.
No, it's true. This is definitely something. A takeaway from this was definitely, wow, Ocala needs this so bad. And that's the gallop there up to the track, and they actually gallop the horses up the grass hill. So they go from the arena to the fields to the track, and all of it over there pretty much is grass racing, so which is fantastic. It's
turf.
Great for the horses, turf. And it was just impressive. And then going to the racetrack at Naas was so much fun. We got to watch the races there. That was one of our first evenings, and the Naas race course was beautiful. The grass was amazing.
Did you meet any horses?
There were some horses.
Did you fall in love with any horses?
A few. You know how I do.
Did you meet all the bigwigs? Did you get behind the scenes?
A few. This is the Naas race course. There's actually 3 race courses I think I mentioned in the Newbridge in the Kildare area. One of them is called Punchestown, and that's the one that has the steeplechase racing over the jumps. This is the flat racing here at Naas. And then we also went to the Curragh, which has the big Irish Derby, which is actually... Wow,
look how spread out they are compared to our racing.
I know, isn't that nice? It's beautiful. The course was amazing. It's really phenomenal. Really impressive.
It looks like they have their own lanes almost on that.
They almost do, don't they? It's quite a different sport overseas. It's pretty It's pretty impressive.
And how big are their jockeys? Are they the same?
Yeah, pretty little. And here we are. This is the Curragh. So the Curragh is a government land.
So we're driving down the road.
Yeah, we're driving through the Curragh, and here's all the sheep. And I guess there's about, our taxi driver told us there's about 150 people who have the rights to have sheep on this Curragh land. And they're all just roaming, and they're sprayed with paint, different colours and shapes, so people know whose is whose, but they all run together.
Because they're showing a video, if you're listening on the radio, of they're driving everywhere. And there's sheep everywhere with no fences on the grass.
With no fences. It's incredible. They're everywhere in people's front yards and all over the place. And this is on the way to the Curragh racetrack where they have the Irish Derby. But it was really a phenomenal experience. It was really amazing. So we got to be at the Irish Derby, we got to go to the Nace racetrack, and we got to have
full tails.
Yes.
Tails down are sheep, tails up are goats. Did you know that?
Now I do. We'll be back. Second half of the show, we've got some Irish stud for you, some Japanese gardens, and some Abbey Fields. So stay with us.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that could talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now, here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. Lip Chip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is Lip Chip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Centre, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centres for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specialising in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com. or find them on social media. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the CEP studios in downtown Ocala, the horse capital of the world, with Dancin Pete Rodda from Complementary Horsemanship. We have been sharing a little bit with you, if you're watching on the television, If you're on Equus TV, you're getting to see a little bit of the Irish countryside. If you're listening on the radio, you're getting to hear a little bit about the twinning of Ocala with its twin city Newbridge in Ireland.
And we're doing our best to describe it for you.
We are. And hopefully you enjoy it. We visited the Newbridge silverware factory where they actually make the silverware right there underneath, just the way they always did, by hand. It's just amazing.
Did you pocket a few?
I bought a few things.
I didn't get any silverware.
I did buy a few things.
I didn't get any silverware.
But let's switch it up because you need to go to the Irish Stud with us. The Irish Stud in Japanese Gardens was amazing. We actually toured with the boss, the head guy, the CEO, who took us. He took our group, the mayor and his wife, and Laurie and Tamara and myself around the stud. And I mean, it's absolutely a gorgeous facility. It's incredibly beautiful. And the Japanese Gardens were amazing. Mayor Gwynn, of course, is in his last year as mayor, and we'll miss him terribly, but he was part of this original twinning relationship with Newbridge in Ireland. So it was really nice to have him go, kind of to get things rolling again. But our hope is to go every year and to take a bigger group of CEP partners with us so that everybody can kind of have this experience and learn. And hopefully we can learn from them and they can learn from us. And we also got to see their very, very famous stallion, Invincible Spirit, who is apparently, wow, great timing, Judy. Look at that.
Look at
that. She's a star, isn't she? We got to meet him and a really, really top stallion in their world, like really well known. And several other really, really top stallions were in the field beside him.
So you felt like I did when you start talking about all these famous stallions. Yeah, you didn't know.
I didn't know, no, because I don't know a lot. But there's Invincible Spirit, who's now, I think, 29 or so.
Wow.
28 or 29. So it was really nice to see him. He's in great shape, and they actually brought him in while we were there. So
he doesn't look 29.
I know. It's pretty impressive that...
he looks... Yeah. Like he's in good shape.
Yeah, really fantastic. And
nice green pasture, too.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful place. And something else that we must have here in Ocala is the racehorse experience.
Uh-oh.
So you go in and they give you an iPad and headphones. And the very first thing, and I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to ruin it if you're going to go and do this thing.
Ruin it for us.
I don't want to ruin it for us. No, he said don't tell them everything. But when you go in, they actually kind of tell you the whole story of racehorses in Ireland. So they actually start you off with how it became the sport of kings and the whole history of it when you go in. So you watch that, and after you've watched that, they can take you through. I mean, that's all the way back to 1752. So they're really, really taking you like back to the very beginning and talk about the steeplechasing, how it was born, over the jumps. And I mean, they just really did it really well, really, really well. And actually, he shared with us that he went to Hollywood and won one of the top awards for new experiences. And people had spent, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on these experiences. But this was so popular that he won this great award with the huge, big guys. And he said this was actually born out of COVID. He said this was kind of when they started thinking, let's create something new. So this is another thing that kind of came out of the COVID slump when people had time to think, what can we add? And it takes you through everything, all the breeds and how they all interact. Yeah, the genetics and everything. It was really, and there's Invincible Spirit, of course, the horse that, has really been their big top champion turf horse. So really great stuff. And then they take us on through the experience and you actually get to see a foal. It's a big, huge screen. You actually get to see a foal being born.
Oh, wow.
And it takes you through the whole kind of beginning of a racehorse's life, which is just phenomenal. And it's all kind of interactive with you on this iPad. So you're kind of doing things as you go along and you're watching and listening and pressing buttons. And it actually teaches you even about the nicking, which is how you choose the stallion and the mare to match.
Make sure you tell us what nicking means.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that sweet?
So there's a mare licking a foal that's just born.
Yes, just born.
Probably
so you actually get to see
old.
all of that. And there's all this interactive, like it shows you about power couples. So the nicking is how you choose the mare and stallion to match, so that you get an A baby or an A plus baby or whatever, because you don't want an F baby or a G baby, or I don't know what the letters it goes to, but it shares all the different breeding and how you can choose on that which horses go together the best. Takes you through the heart and the lungs of the horse, why they scope a horse, why they want to see what the lungs actually work like. This incredible diagram of the horse, so you can actually see how it moves
and the bones inside while it's moving.
Which is
amazing.
So impressive. And you don't think about all that. A lot of times people think about the feet, but they don't think about how everything flows. Shows about the endoscope procedure and clearing the air and how important that is. And as you're going through, you're selecting everything for your horse.
Oh, so you're actually breeding a horse.
You're choosing everything you want. Wow. Tells you about the saddles and the silks, the weighing, the jockeys have to be weighed in.
Wow.
It takes you through all the different things about being a jockey. And then at the end, after you've answered all these questions, you actually get to race on one of these horses.
Mechanical horses.
A mechanical horse, you get to race. And the mayor of Ocala is right there. The Ken Gwynn and his wife, Sandra.
Yeah, there's a video of everybody riding these heads and body horses,
and then
going back and forth.
Post-race review and who won. And it was all based on what you selected for stamina, what you selected for the horse.
And you're seeing a video of the track while you're doing it.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I mean, you want to talk about, honestly, one of the best experiences I've ever had in an educational sense while being entertaining. The edutainment idea of how you can learn about the racehorse industry, and it even takes you to an auction where you can bid on horses.
Wow!
It's amazing. I was just incredible. So hopefully I didn't tell you too much, so you don't want to.
I want to go from what you said. So that's amazing. That would be really good to have in every industry,
don't you think?
That would give you an appreciation of the different industries, because a lot of people don't. Don't appreciate the jumpers. Some people don't appreciate people that take their time to understand the behavior and all that, what we go through and all that kind of stuff. It's like there's a lot to it, and no matter which discipline you pick, and if you could have an interaction like that with all the disciplines, whoa!
I know. Can you imagine?
Watch out, Ocala!
I know. Can you imagine? You could go through and you could go through the stages of the jumping, or the racing, or the carriage driving,
and even have a training. Hey, I'm going to go and train. So now you're going to go and ride all these different horses that move differently. That would be really cool.
Oh, it was so impressive.
Sky's the limit.
Oh yeah, it was so impressive. The Japanese gardens that they also have there at the Irish Stud. They have a wonderful gift shop and restaurant, and it's a real learning experience. It steps you into the real world.
It's like going to Disney World and interacting with all the characters and learning how to do it.
And learning, it was amazing. So we're very, very grateful that they took the time to show us around, and for Kent, mayor of Ocala, and his wife to have that opportunity in this last year of him as mayor to go back and kick all that back off. So I've still got to tell you about Abbey Fields, but we're actually at the end of this segment, so we're going to start our next segment up with Abbey Fields, because that was a 5-star experience. I was so impressed. So stay with us on the Horse Talk Show, and we'll bring you back to Ireland in a minute. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equine, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. Having an air conditioner that works well in Florida is a must. Experience peace of mind by working with Florida HVAC Services, a family-owned and operated company taking pride in always putting their customers first, providing air conditioner repair, installation, and maintenance services on all makes and models. For those suffering from allergies or asthma, air quality testing is recommended, and hospital-grade air filters are available. Ask about a pure air filtration system today. Check them out at flhvacservices.com or like them on Facebook. Florida HVAC Services, serving all of North Central Florida with honesty, integrity, and the highest value of workmanship. And that's 100% guaranteed.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equine with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equine came to life. Equine, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Join us July 22nd, 8:30 to 5 p.m. for the Equine Extravaganza at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion, Ocala. Brought to you by West Florida Fence and the Horse Talk Show. Fundraising for Spirit Equine Therapy and Open Hands Animal Rescue. Enjoy a fantastic breed show from miniature horses to Clydesdales. With jumping and dressage demos, you can also watch barrel racing, dog training, mounted shooting, and enjoy food vendors and crafts for kids, plus a silent auction. Check the Equine Extravaganza fundraiser event on Facebook. And we'll see you July 22nd from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion for the best in horsing around in the horse capital. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the CEP Equine Studios in downtown Ocala, in the horse capital of the world, with Dancin Pete Rodda from Complementary Horsemanship. So we're going to talk a little bit about Abbey Fields.
Forever?
Because, yes,
oh, sorry.
Abbey Fields forever, right? So what a professional organization. We have to thank Marion. So Marion was part of the original twinning committee, and once she got a hold of Tamara and I's emails, and she sorted out so many pieces of this trip to Ireland, to our twin city for us, and she was wonderful, and I just love her. We just fell in love with Marion. She's just an amazing woman. So thank you, Marion, for all that you did to get this all set up for us. But she helped us organize a trail ride through the country in Ireland at Abbey Fields stables. And I can tell you...
On ponies, not horses.
Well, these are Irish draft mixes that these bigger horses are. There were a couple of smaller ponies that were Connemara mixes.
Right.
But the horses we were on actually were Irish draft crosses. And Tamara... I have to go back to Tamara, my boss at the chamber here, because not only can she drive on the wrong side of the car on the wrong side of the street with a manual transmission and windy roads, but she also can get on a horse and ride in an English saddle for the first time ever.
Oh, for the first time ever in an English saddle?
Yeah, she said, oh, these saddles are English. And I said, well, yeah. They don't have Western saddles here.
My buddies used to go...
There she is, bless her heart.
My buddies used to go, how do you ride in that English saddle? There's no horn when they drop their head. And I'm like, same thing when the horn's there.
But she had never done it before, and we went out with these. Dara, the gentleman that owns and runs this 250-acre facility, was so wonderful and took us out across the Irish countryside so that we could actually have that riding experience. And what a beautiful, beautiful farm this is. And all opened up to us and started us out just walking around the field close by, you know, just got us going. And then once we got going, kind of took us off, you know, down the trails. And the trails they have are actually set up with steeplechase jumps on the way. So if you want to go practice, you actually can go and practice on this trail. But here we are just riding across the barley and wheat fields and just really had, and that's Dara. And just a great guy, wonderful guy, took us out and about halfway or so, I'd say about halfway, he said, "So you ready for a little bit of a trot?" And I said to Tamara, "Just rise to the trot, you'll be fine." And that was her first ever, like I said, that was her first ever English saddle. So there she goes, posting down the trail on her Irish draft horse. And I was just so proud of her because it was such a new experience. And getting on an English saddle for the first time is a little different.
Yes, ma'am.
So this amazing horse I was on is called Hooch. And I fell
Turner and Hooch.
I fell in love with Hooch. He was an absolute doll. He was a lovely, lovely horse. And we just had a fantastic ride. The dogs went with us the whole way.
Wow.
And
beautiful country.
Oh.
Beautiful country.
Oh,
beautiful
gosh.
skies. Look at those clouds.
Yes, it was
Blue
just,
sky.
I mean, it was an amazing experience.
Well,
just
it's
to go
funny
out there.
watching this because I just went back in history. Do you know the first horse I ever rode? I was 11 years old, and it was in Ireland.
How about that?
First time I ever got on a horse. Now, we only got in a little pen and just sat and walked around. But yes, when I saw this, I was like, oh, yeah, the first horse I ever got on was in Ireland.
Look at this amazing countryside.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's just an incredible. That would have been called a hurricane here. We would have called it a hurricane, and we would have had Jim, what's his name, out there doing this. Because I think those were like, well, they probably weren't quite 75, but I think they were 40 or 50 mile an hour winds.
Right.
So just...
It's like living in places in Texas. Like
Yes.
the wind blows.
Where it just blew. I mean, look how close that sheep just went to the road.
Yeah.
That crazy stuff. So
Who's
that
got the
was,
right of way?
That was a wonderful experience. And then these are little cottages and
Oh, I
hillside
love
views.
I love the
Oh, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
So that's where Hollywood's name came from.
Oh, wow.
The guy who lived here, I'm blanking his name temporarily, but the guy who lived here went to Hollywood, California, and that is where Hollywood got its name, from this little village.
I love the stone walls. That's what I always
Amazing,
remember
aren't
from
they?
Ireland.
So there you go. There's Hollywood and
Beautiful
Mel
house.
Gibson, Liam Neeson, Meryl Streep. They've all filmed movies here. Parts of Braveheart were filmed here in this village. So just an amazing experience that we really wanted to share all of that with you. And shout outs to everybody who helped me leave. Shout outs to Epic, Equine Performance and Innovative Center. Olivia looks after our donkeys very, very well while I'm gone. But I didn't want to leave Frosty with his laminitic and feet issues here for her to be concerned about. So Equine Performance Center very kindly took Frosty in for a week of therapy, and he got to do his water treadmill activities. So Frosty, if you're listening on the radio, is a little miniature horse of mine who has had some laminitis in the past and some hoof problems and some white line and all sorts of other issues. And so he got to try the treadmill, which was fantastic for him. That was the doctor's recommendation for rehab. And so he got
High step in it,
yes. So this is actually in the treadmill at the Equine Performance Center. The techs there very kindly
they had the water a little lower than normal.
Lower for Frosty, yes. So, but Amanda and Dr. Roulan and the staff there, and then wonderful Samuel went and did his feet. And then I told Amanda, he loves it when you blow in his nose. So Dr. Roulan is such a horse person.
He's blowing in his nose.
Yeah, so they sent me a video of Dr. Roulan blowing in his nose. I thought that was really cute. So, and thank you very much to Betsy from Larson Hay for taking Frosty over there for me so that I knew he would be okay and he could have his therapy. And then Magic, the hero horse from Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses, got to have a swim in the pool.
At
And
Epic?
that's the pool. Yes, that's the pool I'm going to swim in. Debbie
Are
said,
we-
sorry, we took this on our old GoPro, so it's not great quality, but Magic the hero horse getting a swim at Epic. And there's George, look.
George should have been swimming beside him.
I you're right. That's the pool they're going to swim me in.
Yeah.
So
Are we gonna do a fundraiser for that swim?
we should, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should.
Yeah, you come up with that. You're good at that. Look at those little legs going. Isn't that so cute?
You know what that reminds me of is the Black Stallion. You know how you get to see the legs going?
Yes.
They should do a video from under the water like that to put it in the next magic.
Yes. And I also want to thank Dr. Esther Drummond, who took very good care of my poor three-legged lame dog, and Ocala Dog Ranch, because Neil and his staff did a much better job keeping my three-legged lame dog under control in a calm environment.
I bet you were having a real fun time in Ireland thinking about that.
I know. Well, there is that worrying about that, but he gets to go to the vet tomorrow, to the orthopedic vet. But the chiropractor, Dr. Esther Drummond, she visited him 3 or 4 times while he was at Ocala Dog Ranch to adjust him, and she has got him almost walking. The last 2 or 3 days, he's walking on all 4 of his feet.
Very good.
So well done to her for being such an amazing dog chiropractor, because that has been a real game changer for Aslan, and Ocala Dog Ranch couldn't have done a nicer job at keeping him contained. I was really...
Uncle Neil.
I was really naughty. I felt terrible for him, so I was still letting him up on the bed and things like that, and I shouldn't have been. And
surprise.
Putting stairs.
No boundaries, Louisa, having boundaries.
Anyway.
I felt bad for him.
I know. But Neil did a phenomenal job, and we'll have his tip next, of course, in the next segment for Ocala Dog Ranch Tip of the Week. But well done to everybody. Thank you so much to my family and friends who were so wonderful and take care of my animals while I was away. So, and then Kayla, of course, who checked on my Mustang. So all good. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to have his tip of the week, Ocala Dog Ranch Tip of the Week, some more reminders, and wrap it up for this week. So stay with us. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equine, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
We are in the Chamber and Economic Partnerships Equine Studios in downtown Ocala.
Horse capital of the world.
How do you know? I'm Louisa Martin. This is Dancing Pete Rodda from Complementary Horsemanship, and he has your horsemanship tip of the week. It's probably something like ride your hobby horse well? No?
Dancin Pete's tip of the week brought to you by Complementary Horsemanship. All right, our horsemanship tip of the week is foot prep. So prepping your horses for the farrier. So when I'm prepping a horse for the farrier, and since we were talking about the farrier school in Ireland,
it's a good fit.
A good fit. So when you're prepping, I always say take your time, ask for the foot to come up, and not always catch it. Just let it go back down and then get them to pick it up on their own. And then you catch it, hold it for a little while, set it down, go to another foot, pick it up. And I call that around the world.
Going around the world.
Going around the world. So you do one foot, do a little bit while they're still okay, set it down. Go to the next foot, do a little bit, they're still okay. But if they start trying to fight you a little bit, just go with them. As soon as they relax for a second, set it back down. So then they go, oh, if I relax, everything goes away. If they take the foot from you, don't make a big deal. Just pick it back up. No big deal. But getting your young horses or even your old horses to get better for prep for the farrier, because it's not the farrier job to prep your horse for the farrier. And I agree with that. And that's why I learned how to be a farrier, because I had farriers once I prepped a horse that went in there and go, hey, you need to pick up your foot, and acted like they knew what they were doing. And he says, well, I'm not a trainer. And I said, well, you're either maintaining what I've put in for this horse, you're making it better, or you're making it worse. So you are training him. You're not training him to pick his feet up. You're training him to maintain what he's been taught. So I totally agree that you guys need to take responsibility for feet picking up, but farriers need to also realize they need to maintain that. So if they're making it worse, they're training the horse, and then what happens? The owner gets blamed. I come in and I go and I pick it up, and all of a sudden I go, yeah, you got a farrier problem, not a foot picking up problem. So,
and there's a very famous expression that's been around for probably centuries: no foot, no horse. And that's so true.
And to defend the farrier part, it's not fun getting thrown around or kicked. No. And I actually saw a video on Facebook where a guy gets kicked in the hand on a mare and breaks his arm. And it was like lightning fast. So that's not prepping.
Listen, I don't want to bring up a sad situation, but you know, there are farriers who've been killed.
Yes, ma'am.
By dangerous horses. I can even remember back in the day when a horse pulled back and threw his head up in the air and pulled actually a concrete wall down on a gentleman. So very, very sad.
And I prefer not to have a horse tied.
Yes, I would agree there.
Because if a wreck happens, I want a horse to be able to get out without any problems. Yes.
And while we're on the topic of obedience, we're going to go off to the wonderful Ocala Dog Ranch and talk a bit about everybody's man's best friend. Everybody who's got a horse pretty much has a dog, right? So
Uncle Neil.
Uncle Neil. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Hello there, Neil Hennessy from Ocala Dog Ranch. Tip of the week is obedience training. It's always good to get your dog out and learning new things with new people and new animals. So I would suggest that you take up an obedience class or private lessons. Keeps your dog engaged, keeps you engaged, gets you and the dog out to do a little bit of exercise and a little bit of mental stimulation. Thank you much.
Neil, he's the best.
Uncle Neil.
Uncle Neil.
Obedience.
Yes, thank you, Uncle Neil, very, very much for taking such good care of Aslan and Lucy. So we have our hobby horses here for a reason, because we're going to get on these on October 21st and ride into the sunset. No, we're not. We're going to ride into competition.
Yes, ma'am.
For the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games.
And we're going to learn a lot about everybody's discipline.
That's right.
So
and this is brought
21st.
to you by Ag Pro. And we're very excited. It's part of the Equine Initiative brought to you by Piranha. We're very excited to have show jumping, dressage, horse racing, reining, roping, barrel racing, and polo all on stick horses.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can learn horse sports from the safety of a stick horse. There'll be vendors, food trucks, hay rides, horse demos, an all-breed parade, free admission thanks to Ag Pro. And you can contact me, Louisa, at ocalacep.com If you have any questions, we do have some vendor space open, so please let us know if you would like to be a vendor. And please come out, adults and children.
Yeah, the adults I think had more fun than the kids last year.
I think so too.
I know I did with my reining pattern with 2 sticks.
I know, right? What fun. And we're even talking about trying carriage driving this year just for fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I don't know how we're going to work that out yet. We're going to have to talk to
I
Gia
got
at the Florida Horse Club.
I got ideas.
You have ideas. You always have ideas. I love that. And then don't forget that the extravaganza is almost upon us. Gigi is like clockwork today, man.
October 22nd. July 22nd. My mess up. July 22nd at 8:30 to 5 at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion.
Presented by
West Florida Fence
and the Horse Talk Show. Breed parade, demos, kids craft, vendors and more, all to benefit
the Equine Therapy and Open Hands Animal Rescue.
Wonderful, great causes brought to you by the Florida Mounted, who we could not love any more than we do.
Yes,
wonderful
ma'am.
folks that do so much good.
Looking forward to being there.
I know, it's going to be a great event. We're very excited. We're all going to be there trying to record bits and pieces and enjoy this wonderful event. So we're very excited about that. And then Piranha, who is the wonderful, incredible community supporter that they are. They support the Equine Initiative at the Chamber. They do so much for our community. Are doing their 2nd annual golf tournament, Piranha Life, and that is going to be to support Canines for Warriors,
Gentle Carousel,
miniature therapy horses, and
the ranch, the heart of
Florida Youth Ranch.
Yes, ma'am.
So 3 great causes. They managed to raise a lot of money last year. And this is all going to happen at the Country Club of Ocala, brought to you by the Piranha Family Foundation benefit.
November 3rd.
Yeah, November 3rd. And it's going to be a great event, a lot of good times and fun, and a great cause.
And contact Piranha because they're still looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor this, please join into this great cause and a lot of fun from last year.
Yep, and it's a 4-person scramble. So if you want to make a team up and do the 4-person scramble, I think you'll have a really, really good time. The event was phenomenal last year, and we love having this here in the horse capital of the world to support these wonderful charities that are dog and horse related.
Woohoo.
So we love all of that.
And we'll have plenty of fly spray.
We'll have lots of fly spray. That's right.
Keep the flies away in November.
I know.
It's great to live in Ocala.
I know. When I was at Abbey Fields, the last probably 20 minutes or so of the ride, the horse flies got really, really bad. They were landing on the horses' bellies and bothering them, and they were kicking away. And I said, "Oh, we need some piranha." And Dara said, "What's piranha?" And I said, "Let me get you a case sent over." So I text Tom. I said, "I think we need to get some piranha over here." And Dara said, "Oh, we'd love to try it." So we just have to find out what the rules are. Shipping it over there.
Ship it over there.
Yeah, we don't want to get arrested or anything for that.
Whoops.
But oh my gosh, they really needed some piranha in Ireland towards the end of the ride. But overall, an amazing experience. If you haven't been to Newbridge, Ireland, and you're from Ocala or you live in Ocala, you need to go see our Twin City. It was amazing. We hope to go back next year.
Well, that's a great show.
Great show. We're going to wrap it up whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not. Happy horsing around till the same time next week.
See you next week.